Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
All right, and welcome everybody to the GSMC Football Podcast Patreon exclusive content. I am your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, and once again, it is great to have you guys here on this Monday. Of course, just got wrapped up with the show. We recapped all the games from yesterday, highlighted by last night's game between the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Niners obviously winning 42-10. And basically, listen, Cowboys are not a Super Bowl contender after yesterday. They just aren't. The 49ers are in a class of their own. And yeah, so we basically went through all that and also previewed tonight's game between the Raiders and the Packers. So, yeah, obviously, the verdict is, listen, the Cowboys just are not, the same class as the 49ers. I think it really goes 49ers, Eagles, Lions. That's your top three right there in the NFC. I really do believe that. I think the Lions are the third best team. I like the Lions' offense better than the Cowboys. Now, I think those two teams, when they face each other, I mean, it's anyone's game. I still don't really – the Lions' defense kind of concerns me a little bit. But, obviously you got a young stud in Aiden Hutchinson there, and they brought in guys like C.J. Garner-Johnson and Cam Sutton to go along with the defense as well. Although Aiden Hutchinson actually got hurt yesterday, but he had a sick interception. I don't know, was it a pick six? Let's see. I'm trying to remember. It was a sick interception. No, it wasn't a pick six. It was an interception, but still, it was insane. It was a one-handed. It was like I don't know if Bryce Young was trying to set up like a screen pass, but yeah, it was one-handed interception, and that set up the Lions. They ended up capitalizing, scoring a touchdown on that, and they won 42-24. Listen, the Lions' offense is very good too. I mean, Jared Goff is playing at an MVP level as well. I talked about how Brock Purdy is playing at an MVP level. So is Jared Goff. I mean, he's off to a great start too. The Lions have a good offensive line, good running game. David Montgomery, again, another touchdown. He's been great this season for them. He has a touchdown in every single game this year. He's been good. And their rookie tight end, Laporta, he's been good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he missed yesterday's game. But you got Josh Reynolds, who stepped up. Khalif Raymond, he's a decent receiver for them, in the role that he's in. The Lions' offense is really good. The defense is, I'd probably say, is their weakness, which, I worry about that. But offense has got playmakers. And I don't think they're in the same class as the 49ers or the Eagles, but I definitely think they are a team that could give those teams problems. They are. So I would put them at 3. But this is NFC rankings. AFC, obviously, combining the AFC and the NFC, it would be different. And the Cowboys, I put them at 4 or 5 right now. I'd probably still put them at 4. Because I like them over the Saints, kind of. I mean, the Saints, they blew out the Patriots, but I don't know. I still don't. I'm still not buying into the Saints heavily, even though they have a good team. But yeah, I mean, listen, last night that basically told you all you needed to know. And I said on the show how the Cowboys 49ers game in the playoffs last year, that was 19-12. That was a close game, a low-scoring game. This last night, I'm like, what am I watching? Guys are running wide open. They can't stop they couldn't stop anything. They could not stop anything. And Brock Purdy, I mean, he looked really comfortable. Could do whatever he wanted. Precision was accurate. No turnovers other than McCaffrey's fumble. 49ers are a complete team. They just are. The one thing you could say is maybe their secondary, but their front seven is amazing that it really at this point it doesn't matter. You know? So I mean the 49ers that right now they are the favorites, I would say, in the NFC. And you know, the team in Philadelphia, the Eagles, they're probably hearing all that and they're saying, "Wait, what about us?" You know? And I said on the show, we got to see what these teams do against each other. I got to see a healthy Brock Purdy against the Eagles. And then that, again, playoffs are different, but that will tell me something. But regardless, those two teams are the two best teams in the NFC right now. And then there's everybody else. Lions are like below that. I think the Lions are like in their own, like if you're doing like a pyramid, a tier list. I would probably put the Lions in like a class of their own. And then I put the Cowboys below that. Slightly below that. Because I mean, the Lions have a great offense. And the Cowboys, what concerns me now is their defense now just got shredded last night. Now, it could just be, well, you played the 49ers. Let's see how they do, you know, next week, right? I don't think they have a bye. They don't have a bye yet. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think they have a bye week next week. Nope. That's not what I wanted to click on. Nope. The Cowboys next week, they play the Chargers. That's right. On Monday night. Yeah, I was looking on CBS and I clicked on a video on there. I'm like, nope, that's not what I meant to hit. But yeah, they play the Chargers. So, I mean, that's a winnable game for them. I mean, it's going to be a tough game because you're going up against Justin Herbert, but they have beaten Herbert before. But yeah, I mean, listen, they are not going to any Super Bowl. They're not. With Dak Prescott as their quarterback, it's not happening. And I said this, I was never a Dak believer. I just wasn't. I never was. And you know, I think he's an okay quarterback. I think he's solid, but I just don't think he's someone that's going to propel you to the Augusta, to the Super Bowl, to win a Super Bowl. It's just not him. He needs guys around him to elevate his level of play. When you should, to me, if you don't have a quarterback that elevates the guys around you, you know, he's not the guy. Now, you could look at Brock Purdy and say, well, I mean, look at what he has. And that's true. You could look at it from that perspective. But I feel like Dak Prescott is one of those examples where you need guys around you to elevate your level of play. Like, you know, we've seen, like, look at what C.J. Stroud is doing with, you know, the weapons he has and the offensive line that he has. It's a lot of some young receivers, you know, and he's able to still play well. And listen, the Texans, they could have won yesterday, but, you know, the Falcons, they went down the field towards the end and kicked the game-winning field goal. So, yeah, I mean, listen, that's doing more with less. Dak is doing less with more, really. You know, and listen, that offensive line, that's what he inherited when he first came into the league. Pro Bowlers. And then slowly but surely some of those guys left. I mean, you still got Zach Martin, you still got Tyron Smith, but, like, a lot of times those guys aren't healthy. You know, and they couldn't run the ball yesterday at all, which, listen, running against the 49ers is, like, impossible. It just is. And you're seeing that, and you saw that once again yesterday because Pollard fumbled. He couldn't do anything. I mean, they just could not get anything going. I mean, the only highlight of their day yesterday was that touchdown to Turpin. That was it. Other than that, they just could not get anything going. Nothing. They got to within 7 points, and you thought, okay, is this where they wake up and things start to change? No. No. 49ers just kept on going. They're a machine. Kittle with 3 touchdowns. Juszczyk with another touchdown. McCaffrey. I mean, it's just the talent gap is wider, especially after yesterday. But I thought it was interesting because in the chat, we had a Dallas fan on the live show, and he was saying how, and I answered it, towards the end of the show. But he said how his major problems with the Cowboys are Jerry Jones as a general manager, and players have Jerry Jones Hollywood mentality. I agree with that 100%. Jerry Jones has too much of a say on a lot of decision-making. Too much decision-making when it comes to the Cowboys. I mean, you talk about how he was a big Tony Romo guy, big Dak Prescott guy. Then all of a sudden, with Zeke. Also, not to mention, Jason Garrett. I mean, how long? They held on to Jason Garrett for so long. And they never did anything with him. Yeah, sometimes they'd make the playoffs here and there, but what would they be? One and done. That's it. Maybe they win a playoff game. I mean, they won in 2014. They beat the Lions. But then they lost the Dez caught it game, or didn't catch a game. I know he did catch it, but now I admit he did catch it. But for a long time, I was like, no, he didn't catch it. But yeah, he was a runner, and then he fell down, and the ball popped up, and they said, yeah, he lost possession. He didn't maintain possession. But he was a runner, though. But hey, listen, Packers still had 3.5 minutes left, and that was prime Aaron Rodgers. So you're telling me that the game was going to end right there? No. But that was one of their playoff wins, and then they won against a Seattle team in 2018 that just really wasn't that good. That squeaked in as a wild card team. And those are your playoff wins right there. And then you got last year, which I don't know why I'm forgetting. Who did they win against in the playoffs last year? Why am I like drawing a blank here? Because they played the Niners, of course, 19-12. I'm trying to remember. Why am I having a hard time remembering who they played in the playoffs? Oh, they played the Bucs. That's right. They played Tom Brady. Tom Brady's final game of his career was a loss to the Cowboys, which, listen, you could have your complaints with Tom Brady, but it was always fun watching him and Aaron Rodgers just beat the Cowboys every single time they played them, pretty much. And yeah, so that was kind of rough. I forgot about that. Well, also because the Bucs were like 8-9 that year, last year. But yeah, those are your playoff wins. That's it. But every year it's the same thing with them. Oh, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year. No, it's not. You are not, after last night, you are not the class of the NFC. You're just not. You're not part of that group. There's one team, maybe two. I'm going to still put the Eagles there because the Eagles beat the Niners last year. Again, without Purdy, but still. Those two teams are the best teams. And I think the Lions are better too. I think the Lions have a better offense. Defense concerns me. So that just leaves you as number 4. And you got the Saints there. You got the Bucs there. I mean, I didn't even mention the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs are the in first place in the South. I didn't even mention them on the live show. But it's just because, I mean, the Saints are fresh in my mind because they played yesterday. So, yeah, it's the Cowboys, I mean, it's more of the same with them. It really is, and they don't have an elite quarterback. And I think at some point they're going to have to move off of Dak Prescott. They just are. Because he, to me, is not the guy that's going to bring you to where you want to be. Now he's turning the ball over. That's the other thing, too. He was a guy that really didn't turn the ball over. Now, like, we've gotten later into his career. I mean, I remember his first start against the Giants. The game the Giants actually won, believe it or not. The Giants used to win football games. Yeah, he's been in the league for that long, but he was not a turnover machine. Now, all of a sudden, he turns the ball over. But now it's his team. Because a lot of people would say when Zeke was in his prime, it was Zeke's team. Zeke was the engine. Now Dak's the engine. And now that Dak's the engine, I mean, they're taking a step back. And why were they good the first couple games of the season? Because their defense, and last week against the Patriots too, their defense scored touchdowns. Their defense capitalized on the opposing team's mistakes. And Dak really didn't have to do anything. Now you're losing against the Cardinals. Now you got to do something, and you throw a horrible red zone interception, which is, I think, his only mistake of the game. But still, at a bad time in the game. Also, with that game too, they were running the ball so much towards the end. It's like, don't you want to, you got to get chunk plays so you can have as much time to try to get the ball back, to come back. But for some reason, they just kept running. I don't know. That was very curious to me. But, yeah. And then you go up against the Niners, and you just couldn't do anything. I mean, you had the one good drive, but that was it. Punt, fumble, interception. That was your game yesterday. That was it. And field goal. That was it. You got dominated. So don't try to say oh yeah, this was our. No, it's not. Because you know what? You're good. You're a team that is good against bad teams. That's what it comes down to. You're good against bad teams. And that's why, including myself, I was like, wow, they look really good. But you look at what these other teams are doing. Now, I'm not going to put the Jets in the same class as the Patriots, and even though that's another thing. I'll get into it in a second. But yeah, I'm not going to I think the Jets are better than the Patriots and the Giants. They have a roster where they could try in a running game. They got the players where they could try to maybe at least salvage this season. And if Zach Wilson can figure it out, which I don't think he is, but they could maybe hover around and maybe squeak in. Maybe. Because Aaron Rodgers is trying to work his way back. But, yeah. The Cowboys played great against bad teams. They did. But now you play against a Super Bowl contender, and you got blown out of the stadium. You did not deserve to be on the same field as them last night. Couldn't do anything. So, but all right, so let's get into the worst teams in football now. So, it's funny because I don't want to say the Jets are one of the worst teams in football, but they're close to it because of the quarterback situation. But it's just funny how, I look at the Patriots and I say they're worse than the Jets, but they beat the Jets. But you know what? It's just one of those things that Bill Belichick just has their number. That's the only number he has. Everybody else, 38-3 to the Cowboys, 34-0 to the Saints yesterday. I mean, they're not a good team. At all. And to be fair, they are dealing with injuries. Christian Gonzalez, their rookie corner, he's out for the year. Matthew Judon, one of their top pass rushers, he's out. He's dealing with an injury. So, the Patriots were down some guys yesterday. But, that offense is just awful. Mac Jones looks so bad right now. And I took a screenshot last night because I wanted to bring this up. Dan Orlovsky, who I like as an analyst, I do. But He said, and this was a couple years ago, he believes that Bill Belichick will win another Super Bowl with Mac Jones at quarterback. And his exact quote was, "Mac Jones is the best rookie quarterback that I have ever seen since doing this job. When it comes to knowing where to go with the football, when to go with the football, and how to throw that football." That was 2 years ago. And then today, and I was watching a little bit of First Take before I got on today, he said Mac Jones is a significantly better player than what we are seeing right now. Something along the lines of that. Is he, though? Is he? I don't see... with Mac Jones, with a lot of these guys, you could tell who's got it and who doesn't. Like Mahomes, right away. Justin Herbert, although the playoff success has not been there, you got Herbert. Josh Allen. Brian Dable comes in. You get him Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen has it. Joe Burrow has it. I mean, obviously, comparing them to Mac, they play in his conference. Lamar Jackson with his playmaking ability, although, yesterday he had a rough game, but I think Lamar's a good quarterback. I think he is. That was just, going up against a really good defense, but, got to play better, but still. A lot of these guys, but again, Lamar Jackson is an elite playmaker. If you want to knock him on his passing, still, when he runs the football, and the passing has gotten better, with those guys, they have an elite quality to them. What does Mac Jones do? What does he do really well since he's become a starting quarterback in the NFL? What has he done? What talent does he possess that you could compare him to who I just named? You can't. Now, he has not been coached right. I agree with that. Because for some reason, I don't understand why Bill Belichick decided to do this, but he thought it was a good idea to, okay, we're going to bring back Matt Patricia. We're going to bring back Joe Judge, a defensive guy and a special teams guy, and those are going to be your play callers, Mac. Good luck. That made no sense. That made no sense. Now, is that Belichick saying, these are my guys and I'm going to employ them and try to, put them in a position to be successful? Yeah. But you also need to put your quarterback, your franchise, supposedly he's your future franchise quarterback, whatever you want to say, to be successful. And doing that, putting those two guys in to be his play callers, not the right move at all. And it showed last year because he regressed. This year you bring in Bill O'Brien. Offense is worse. But the Patriots really didn't do it. They really did not do anything to upgrade this team. You signed Juju Smith-Schuster, and there was that report that his knee is a ticking time bomb. That it could explode at any moment. That's not good. Then you sign Mike Gesicki to go along with Hunter Henry. Even though you need more playmakers on the outside. Because right now your top receiver is Kendrick Bourne. And then you have Devontae Parker. But they don't have... And then the other thing is, they go and they sign Ezekiel Elliott to replace Damian Harris, essentially. And Zeke is not Zeke anymore. He's just not. But that's what you do. And that's what you surround Mac Jones with. No elite wide receiver. I mean, listen, that's where I'll defend Mac Jones. But even so, I just don't see it with him. I think he's okay. But he had a horrible pick six yesterday. Horrible. Tyrann Mathieu took that in. I mean, he just, I mean, I said Mac Jones is okay. Now I'm like, just now, I don't, is okay even right either? But listen, we're going to talk about the Patriots. tomorrow because, I mean, it is a disaster what's going on there right now. It's a disaster. I mean, when have you seen the Patriots getting blown out back-to-back weeks? You don't see that. But again, it's a different team now. It's a different team now. This isn't Tom Brady's Patriots. No. And listen, Tom Brady's gotten blown out. Tom Brady on the Patriots got blown out. But you know what? The thing is, 2014 it didn't seem like that. And then he said, we're on to Cincinnati, Belichick, and, they won the Super Bowl. But Patriots get blown out, you think, they're going to be all right. These Patriots, they're not going to be all right. They're going to be a bad team. They are a bad team. And it really makes you wonder, however this season turns out, if it continues this way and they finish with 2 or 3 wins, because right now that's what they look like. What's going to happen in the offseason? Is Belichick still going to coach? Where are we with the Patriots right now? It's definitely something to think about. But like I said, that's going to be something I want to touch upon in tomorrow's show because, it's bad. It's bad right now. And again, it's funny because I'm the Jets I think are better than the Patriots, but the Patriots beat the Jets. They beat them, and the Jets should have won that game. Whatever. Yeah, not good. Not good for Bill Belichick. And listen, we're on to Cincinnati. They're not playing Cincinnati, but there's no we're on to Cincinnati anymore. We're on to I don't know. And Mac Jones is still the starter, and I think that's because we don't want to give up on him, but because they put in Bailey Zappi again. I'm trying, and I want to try to get my "Don't Worry, Be Zappi" T-shirt because I don't know. I know it's cheesy, but I thought it was funny. I thought those shirts were funny. So I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess right now in New England, and it's something that they have not seen in a long time. But you know what? They won so much. Give somebody else a chance, That's how I look at it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But this season is just, they're going to have one of their worst seasons in years. And listen, last year they got to 8 wins? They finished 8-9. I was they'll probably do that again because of the Patriots. And you know what? Maybe they still do. They could still do that. But right now the defense is bad. The offense can't do anything. What? I thought they would at least win yesterday just because the Saints really haven't looked that good offensively. Patriots have a good defense. They're at home. Against the Cowboys, it's just, it's one of those weeks. But they got blown out. They didn't score a point. So yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about the Patriots in this segment. So, in the show. But yeah, that's pretty much all the time that we got for today. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, yeah, it was a great first day doing the football podcast for the GSMC Sports Network. So, looking forward to continue doing these as well. And then, of course, Friday we got the double show. We got football, and then we got baseball after that. So, but, yeah, that's all the time that we have for today. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Once again, we'll be back again tomorrow. And, yeah, so until then, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.